We made it, Tiger Cubs. This is the final episode for this year. We have a packed episode for you today. As you might have noticed, the fencing came down around the new building. Ahead of the ribbon cutting, Charlie and Gabe were given access for our third and final look inside before its opening. Thanks to Denny, Michael, Zach, and Balfour Betty for taking us on tours these past 2 years. Let's take a look inside.
Hello, everyone. I'm here with Denny. Nice to meet you. What is your main job on this project?
I work for Balfour Beatty, and we are the construction manager for the project.
Nice. So, since the pandemic hit, what are some of the safety procedures that you implemented to keep everyone safe?
Yeah, so we absolutely started with the mask mandate for all the workers. Also, staying away 6 feet or greater, if at all possible. You can imagine working on a job site. It's a little harder to work away from all the other workers, especially if you're doing critical, just small work in a small area. But we try to do that as much as possible, obviously, and to limit the quantity of people in one space as the 6-foot rule allows.
Nice. So the finish date before the pandemic happened was around August 17th, right? What do you think?
We are anticipating project completion August 17th, 2020.
What do you think it's going to be now?
Now we are targeting June 1st to be mainly complete with the building and the exterior. And that should be right about in time for I understand there's a commencement ceremony also, and we also want to do a ribbon cutting for the new building.
Nice. Has there been any positives that have come out of the pandemic for you guys?
I would say one of the positives is the lack of students on campus and the lack of traffic makes the commute a little better, and not having to deal with kids. An active campus while we're working on campus makes it a lot better also.
As you can hear probably behind us, there's a lot of noise. What kind of construction tools and vehicles have you used to remake the building?
Yeah, so in the beginning we used a lot of crane because there's some heavy equipment and structural steel that needed to go in the building. Right now they're just doing landscape in hardscape, so they're using a little bobcat just to get around the site and clean the grades. And we really shouldn't have any more big equipment from now on. It's pretty much just finished work.
And I'm sure some of us don't know what's going to be in the building. Do you know what's going to be in the building?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a classroom in there. There's a flex lab. There's an arts classroom. There's a black box theater. A couple restrooms. There's a control room upstairs also. So the building is designed. If you remember before, it used to be an old gymnasium. Now there's a black box theater, and it's going to be functioning as a theater for small events.
Okay, I think that's it. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
Give us the place alone.
And from thy admiring daughter took the spirits, standing like stone with thee.
And give me leave, and do not say 'tis superstition that I kneel and implore her blessing.
Countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar. And the courtesy of it is so fearful. Speak your office.
It alone concerns your ear. I bring no overture.
Last year brought about big changes, including the departure of both our principal and assistant principal. Mrs. Busick came abroad from Arroyo Vista, but SBMS has been without an assistant principal almost all year now. Last week, it was announced that Mr. Stephen Lewis will be joining us in that position. He's had a lot of experience helping staff and students alike.
Hi, Tiger Cubs. I'm Mr. Lewis, and I'm super excited to be joining you as your new assistant principal of South Pasadena Middle School. I'm brand new to South Pasadena, and I'm thrilled to join such a great school. Over the last 10 years, I've served as a middle school and high school math teacher, department chair, and teacher leader. I can't wait to meet all of you, get to know you, and bring so many new and fun activities back to school. You're almost done with this school year, so I want to give you a huge congratulations and wish you a long and restful summer. I hope you take as many opportunities as you can to safely explore and thoroughly enjoy your time off. I also want to give a big shout out to all of you for persevering through distance learning, staying connected with your teachers, and keeping your spirits up during the last year and a half. It may not have been easy, and you may have had a few bumps along the way, but you made it. I know your teachers have done an amazing job giving you all the tools and knowledge you'll need to be successful next year and the many more to come. I can't wait to meet you in person next school year and be a part of the many great things we have in store for you. Take care of yourselves, be kind to one another, and I'll see you soon.
Now we have our final episode of Tech Talks. Enjoy! Welcome to the last episode of Tech Talks. Today, we're going to be talking about what you can do over the summer to keep yourself entertained. This summer is going to be a weird one, as this chapter of humanity closes with hopeful end to this pandemic. I want to make sure you have something to do. The internet is full of things to do, but make sure you stay safe on it. First, you can always go back and see the previous topics we've learned and learn a new skill. And those are not the only skills you can learn. You could always just play the good old video game or something extra like doing a roller coaster in a virtual reality space. Another way to use internet during summer is to organize everything. Programs like Todoist or Trello help you organize things so you're not stressed out, because who wants to be stressed out over the summer? Anyways, that's it for me today. Have a great summer, Tiger Cubs. Now, we usually have sports for a little bit later in the show, but our final episode, Benjamin has an interview for you Dodger fans out there.
Hello, I'm here with Joe Davis, television announcer for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time. I really appreciate it. I wanted to ask you, what was your first reaction when Julio Urias struck out Willie Adames and the Dodgers won it all?
I think it was because for me, since the team TV guys don't do those games, I was just at home watching. So a little different, I guess, than it would have been had I been involved how I normally am. For me, it was more just kind of like, wow. Just a sense of relief for the team and for the guys on the team and Dave Roberts and Andrew Friedman, and that they had finally done it. And just kind of sat back and enjoyed watching all the emotion that I saw on all those guys' faces.
And you called Bellinger's home run in Game 7 of the NLCS.
Has been the magic one tonight. This time he hits the ball to deep right field. Cody Bellinger has done it!
Yeah, that was awesome for me, Ben, getting to do Game 7, filling in for Joe Buck in that Game 7. And, it would have been special no matter what, getting to fill in on a Game 7, but the fact that it was the Dodgers and that they came back and won, that was one of the most special nights in my career. And to have those awesome moments in the game, like you mentioned, Bellinger's home run, Kike Hernandez tying it with a pinch hit home run, a night I will never forget, that's for sure.
Can you tell me how you got into announcing and what has it been like being in the broadcast booth?
I've always known that it's what I wanted to do. When I say always, I mean probably sixth grade, sixth grade, I started paying as much attention to the people calling the games as I was the games themselves. So, yeah, I think it really helped that I knew exactly what I wanted to do at an early age. That was a big part of it. And then the other part is once I got into a place where I could start practicing and getting my opportunities, I took every opportunity that I could find and was aggressive and creative and coming up with new opportunities, because every rep, when you are just getting started, every rep and all that little bit of experience, even if nobody's listening, is huge.
Are there any plays you specifically like calling? Double plays, home runs, stolen bases, strikeouts, walk-offs?
Yeah, it's a good question. I like my favorite kind of game would be a low-scoring pitcher's duel, where any one swing could be the difference. Of course, walk-off hits. I think that I probably, if I could pick between walk-off homer and say a walk-off double where a guy scores from first, that's more fun. That's kind of the ultimate test of a baseball play-by-play person is, you know, ball in the gap with a lot of pieces moving, how you keep up with all the moving parts, and especially in a walk-off situation. That's a really fun challenge for an announcer, so love those. Those would probably be at the top of my list for my favorite things to call.
There are a lot of us at the middle school who play baseball and just truly love the game, you know, statistics, history, everything. What advice would you give to some of the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders out there who might want to become sports announcers?
First of all, I would say what a great idea for a career to chase. I can't imagine a more fun, more fulfilling job for guys and gals like you who love this sport. I don't feel like I work a day in my life. It is a lot of work, right? You really do have to work hard and prepare, and you got to master the material. But hey, if somebody told you get to get paid for spending a lot of hours reading about baseball, that's not going to feel like work, right? So what I would tell you is great choice, first of all. And then the second thing would be it's never too early to start practicing. And that can be as simple as turning the sound off on your TV. You don't even have to do that. Turning the sound down on your TV and doing your own call. Just practice. And every time you practice, you're going to get better at it. And also the other thing I would say would be study the people that you're listening to. If you're really serious about getting into it, before you even start your own career, you can kind of be molding your style based on who you're listening to, and listen really closely and find things that you like from certain announcers and other things that you don't. And, you know, just speaking for myself, when I first started announcing games, because I'd been paying such close attention for years at that point already, like I mentioned, you know, kind of nerding out on the industry and paying attention to the announcers. When I first started announcing, I was kind of a combination of all the guys that I really liked listening to. Listen and study and learn from the people that you like, and I think that will help set you up ahead of the curve for when you do get those first chances to do this job.
Well, that's all the questions I have. Thank you so much for taking the time. Is there anything else you'd like to say to all the Dodger fans at the South Pasadena Middle School?
Glad to know that there are so many Dodger fans and so many baseball fans, and can't wait to see you guys out at the park sometime soon.
For anyone interested in hearing more about what Joe said, we'll have the uncut interview posted this week as well. As far as countdowns go, we have some good ones for you. Rocket wraps up his hiking series with his top 5, Johnny ranks some local skate parks, and the review crew reviews itself.
Your Rotates Trail is a great trail and it's really fun, but it just doesn't have all the great views and everything of other trails. The South Arroyo Trail is a great trail by our school. It has fishing, horse stables, and even archery. It's a great trail, but not top on our list. The Cobb Estate was a fun trail and it had lots of cool art. It was really fun, but we didn't even make it to the top, so I think it'll be even really better if you guys make it to the top. But it's not the top on our list. The Peanut Lake Trail is the second best on our list. It has awesome views and an amazing lake. It is so cool and it has such beautiful sights. But ready for number 1? And at number 1, the one and only Millard Canyon Trail. The Millard Canyon Trail was just an all-in-all awesome trail. It led up to a beautiful waterfall. It had great sights. It was just amazing. The waterfall was so beautiful. Well, see you guys.
To end off the school year, I'm going to be ranking my top 3 favorite skate parks. At number 3, we have El Sereno Skate Park. This park is great for learning new tricks because there's a small down rail, but there's also a big stair set too. Next up is Chevy Chase Skate Park. It's a rather new skate park, and it has a really fun set. My favorite skate park is Marsh. I met some of my best friends there, and I spent almost all of last summer there. So those are my top 3, and I hope all of you have a great summer.
Hello and welcome to the final Tiger Cub Reviews segment of 2021. Today, we simply reviewed our own reviews by creating tier lists, and we've got a time-lapse prepared for you. So the general consensus was that Minecraft and the Shrek reviews were towards the top of the tier list, with everything else being sort of up in the air as to which ones were lower or higher. So thanks for watching all our segments this year, and have a good day.
It wouldn't be Tiger Cubs news without a roundup of local, national, and global news. So let's check those out. And then I'll be back to close out with the last few clips.
Many crazy things in science and aerospace happened during our 2020 to 2021 school year. Let's take a look at a few. First, let's take a look at the Silverado and Blue Ridge fires in October and November of 2020. Here in California, in Silverado and Blue Ridge, the fire started on October 26th, and they were both fully contained just 12 days after they started on November 7th, 2020. In total, both the fires burned just a little over 27,000 acres. Both of the fires damaged a total of 19 structures and destroyed 6. The next major thing that happened was the discovery of one of the largest dinosaur fossils ever. Named the Titanosaur, this dinosaur was 20 feet 8 inches long and was said to live anywhere from 66 to 80 million years ago. For the third big event, it was the landing of the Perseverance rover on Mars. This rover made history as it would help give us knowledge of Mars with a drone and better samples from the ground. The rover was launched in July of 2020, and after a 292.5 million mile journey, it landed on our neighboring red planet, Mars. The rover touched down a little over 6 months later on February 18th, 2021. The final large event that we'll be taking a look at is Monkey Mind Pong. On Thursday, April 7th, 2021, the company Neuralink, owned by Elon Musk, released some exciting news. It took a 9-year-old monkey named Pager and inserted 2 chips in his brain. They taught Pager how to play a game, and after using a decoder to see which part of his brain activated when he moved the joystick a certain way, they could predict the movement of the cursor just using the input from his brain. Pager was able to control a cursor just using his mind and thinking about moving the cursor. Neuralink's end goal is to help disabled people use a computer.
Welcome to the final edition of Political Corner. I'm Sophia Feldman, bringing you highlights of politics this year. Let's start with the election of 2020 with Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Biden won 306 to 232 Electoral College votes. After many failed lawsuits, the former president could not accept his defeat and did not attend Biden's inauguration. At the end of Trump's term, he was tried for impeachment due to the insurrection on our nation's capital. The trial continued after Trump's term was over, leaving the question if it was constitutional. America made history this past year with the first female and person of color as vice president. And at 22, Amanda Gorman became the youngest poet to ever recite at an inauguration. Finally, Liz Cheney was removed from her position in the GOP after stating that Trump did not win the election and she will do everything she can to keep him out of office. Thank you for tuning in to the Political Corner throughout the year, and we'll be back with more news next year.
Hello and welcome to this week's News Minute. We'll be continuing the timeline of Palestine and Israel's conflicts. In 1982, Israel invaded Lebanon despite many requests from the UN to withdraw from occupied territories. The first rebellion was launched in 1987, an uprising in West Bank and Gaza Strip with the goal of shaking off Israel occupation. In 1993 and 1995, Oslo I and II were signed. Oslo gave a Palestinian authority over the occupied regions, West Bank and Gaza Strip, with limited amounts of self-governance. In 2005, Israel disengaged from Gaza. In 2006, Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon started a war with each other. Israel attacked Gaza 3 more times in 2008, 2012, and 2014. Tuesday was the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's killing, causing mass protests across the nation. Many kneeled in silence and gunshots were heard from Minneapolis, where George Floyd was killed. 1 person was injured. Riots happened in Portland, with people breaking windows, burning buildings, and throwing items at police. 10 people were killed, including the shooter in a San Jose transportation yard last Wednesday. He had reportedly often complained about his workplace and how much he hated it and his colleagues. He targeted his victims, walking past other people to shoot them. The president now urges Congress to take action in gun control. That's it for this year. Have a great summer.
It's been a challenging year, but we at Tiger Cub News hope that you and your families are doing well. The TCN team is off to high school, but we wish you good luck next year. Stay safe and have a great summer, Tiger Cubs.
Bye! 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 Bye!
Bye.
Looking forward to seeing you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Have a great summer.
How it is.